You're listening to the Love-ish Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Sita Hood, vision architect and licensed therapist. Each week, I'm going to help you to develop the belief and strategy necessary to make an immediate impact on the world by deep diving into topics like mental wellness, faith, relationships, and you guessed it, love. I should mention before we hop into the show, this is not a substitute for a relationship with a licensed therapist. You ready? Let's get it. Welcome back for another episode of the Love-ish Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Sita Hood, vision architect and licensed therapist. How are you doing today? How you feeling today? In today's episode, we're going to talk about 6 steps to supercharge your confidence after failure. But first and foremost, you know how we do because you be here every week. What is in your mug? What's in your mug? I have the iced chai tea latte with the vanilla sweet foam on top and handy dandy brew made with the water and the lemon because we minding our business, okay? Listen, I promise I'm not recording at night. Even though I know y'all wouldn't care if I was recording at night, it actually just got dark in here because it's raining. It's like about to thunderstorm. So if you hear the rain doing its thing outside, then, we just gonna keep going. I was like, this is really interesting. It starts to thunderstorm as I'm recording. Okay, so I love that y'all come up to me and ask me what's in my mug when y'all meet with me virtually, when y'all see me. And I know I've said that before on the podcast, but it really does touch my heart. Because what's in your mug is a way to check on your mental wellness. It's a way to show care and concern. And I do take this exercise of what's in your mug a little bit deeper because listen, when I tell y'all that my love for coffee runs deep, it runs deep, okay? There is an exercise in 24K Vision called the Purpose Press Method. And it goes even deeper into the what's in your mug thing that we do here. But I'm thinking about expanding the what's in your mug from just something that we do on the podcast over on my Instagram as like a mental wellness check. What do you think about that? What you think about that? You think I should do that? Either comment down below or head on over to my Instagram channel or Instagram page and let me know your thoughts. All right, let's get into today's episode and let's be real. Failure happens and it is a very real part of your journey. And so I thought it would be a good idea to give you 6 steps for realigning your vision. Failure. I want you to go back to the basics. Ain't nothing wrong with basics, okay? I know in 2023, everybody is trying to offer luxe experiences, luxury this, self-care, soft life that, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it because we deserve to be taken care of and, pampered and making sure that we're good to extend the longevity of our lives. But also, ain't nothing wrong with basics, okay? Because basics are the foundational elements that keep you going. That's why it's important to pursue passion over paper, because when you're thrown off, it's the passion for the work that you do that inspires you to keep going. So I want you to get back to the basics, and I'm going to give you a method to get back to the basics. But first, we're going to have a word from our sponsor for today's episode. Got 24K vision? You've got a dream so big it feels impossible to carry alone. You filled countless notebooks, the notes section of your phone, and a ton of random sticky notes. God save the trees. But you still haven't taken action on your big vision. You know that you're here for impact. Money matters to fund your vision, but the real raw transformation, that's what you're invested in. Do you want to know how close you really are to launching your big idea? Take the 24K Vision Assessment to find out. Click the link in the show notes or down below this video and let's do this. Okay, did you go and grab your pen and paper? I'm going to give you a bounce back method using basics. Ready? B, breathe. Breathe, like literally breathe. After an idea didn't take off like you wanted it to, we can go into these spirals of feeling like you're a failure. But here's the thing, just because the thing didn't work initially doesn't mean one, that you're a failure, or two, that it won't work in the future. Failing is not the same thing as failure, right? So failing could be, oh, dang, I messed it up this time. But it doesn't mean that the whole process is a failure. I just messed up that time. Maybe next time when I do it, it won't be a failure, right? I won't fail at the thing, right? You just maybe need to breathe. You can go back to the drawing board later, but the first thing to do is to breathe, because it's likely that you put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of sleepless nights to get where you are. And honestly, you're probably tapped out. And this can go for a divorce. It can go for life after starting a podcast. It can go for life after adding a new program to your salon offerings. It can go towards life after moving to a new city. Like literally just sit down and breathe. Be intentional about engaging in wellness practices. The next thing, assess the issue. Where did the breakdown happen? Where do we lose focus or momentum? What is the real problem here? Sometimes we don't actually take the time to see what the problem was. We were like, oh, it failed because of this. Like we want to guesstimate why it didn't work and go back to the drawing board. Then we're disappointed when we recreate the same issue. So another question, is it even a real problem, or is it just a perceived failure? Are you just feeling overwhelmed? Because sometimes our brains can trick us into thinking that something is a failure when really it's just part of the process. Also, sometimes our brains can convince us that there's an issue where it really is not an issue. Sometimes consistency is the thing that we need to do. And it's not that we're failing, it's just we're in the process. Consistency is the name of the game when you are establishing new habits or building something new. And life transitions hit every part of your life. We act like when we make a change in one area, it doesn't trickle over to the others, and it absolutely does. If you make a change, it's a trickle effect, which is why your dedication to the process matters. Not just the outcome, but the actual process, because you have to be committed as you are in it. Tiny bricks still build empires. You start with the massive buildings, you start with the tiny brick as a foundation. The basics is to lay a foundation. Those small, seemingly insignificant changes lead to massive impact. So the assessment phase is where you can see your confidence start to increase, because the same time that you're assessing those failures, you are also assessing your wins. You're seeing like, oh, hold on, I did that. Okay. All right, let's get it. So this is where your confidence starts to build. The next letter is S, strategize. What makes the most sense with the deepest impact for you to handle first? So let's say that you're adding additional services to your salon and it includes a community option. But when it was time for you to host your first meeting, it kind of flopped because you didn't send out the invites in time. People forgot. Somebody was late logging on, like, et cetera, et cetera. Just consider all the issues. Now, if you go and you assess that, what was the root cause? Well, you were absolutely exhausted and you didn't sleep well. So you didn't properly prepare to set up your reminder emails. So in the case of launching something new, doing something new, the thing that makes the most sense with the deepest impact would be making sure that you get adequate sleep so you are on your A game the next time this rolls around. When we come back from a break, I'm going to give you the last letters of this basic method. But first, we're going to have a word from our sponsor for this episode. Meet me poolside in Arizona? You're tired of feeling alone and trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. You're tired of constantly juggling all the things to work in a job where you have no control over the work you do. And if one more person tells you just how easy it is to manifest your dreams, you are going to scream. You don't want to keep complaining because you know you're really blessed, but you just feel really miserable where you are and terrified to take the first step. That's why we're here. We're the Million Collective Inc., and we're going to help you ditch your notebook and launch your project in as little as 3 months. It's time to unlock the boldest version of you. No more $1 million ideas trapped in your notebooks or in the notes section of your phone. Deep down, you know you've got the genius, the tenacity, and the boldness to bring this project to life. But right now, the path there feels clouded with self-doubt. You want a clear step-by-step strategy to make this project a reality. You want to connect with other bold dreamers just like you. You want a launch strategy that leaves people ecstatic about your project release date. And you want to escape hustle culture, knowing the work that you do makes a difference. We're looking to partner with you. Join 24K Vision, a 90-day accelerator for audacious visionaries to ditch their notebooks and launch their project. Need the quick details? 90 days of support, accountability, and hot seat consulting on our group calls, a 4-day immersive, intimate weekend experience at the Andes Luxury Resort and Spa in Scottsdale, Arizona, 6 months of access to the 24K Club to connect with other audacious visionaries, access to our signature system, the Visionary Blueprint, and so much more. This is not just another program. It is a blueprint and a launch strategy, and we can't wait to partner with you to make your dreams a reality. Go ahead and click the link in the show notes or below this video to learn more. Innovate. That's the word for I. What new idea, method, or way of doing things can you add? If you listen to this podcast, I already know. Even if you don't know, you are a visionary. You are a world changer. You are a pioneer. You are an innovator. And as an innovator, you already have fresh ideas flowing from you. It's why you want to launch your program, because you see things differently. I want you to innovate the next time you roll out your program. I don't want you to offer it the same way you did. I want you to consider what fresh take can you add. You are going to take everything that you know up to this point and you're going to make it pop. Okay? That's what you're going to do. That's what innovation looks like. Don't look at me like that. You have innovative ideas. You are creative. You just don't think you're good enough. You just don't think your ideas are good enough, but they are. They're more than good enough, and somebody is waiting on them. So go back to the drawing board, assess after you breathe, figure out what you need to change, strategize on the deepest impact, and then innovate in your process. C, challenge. All right, here's the toughest part. But if you are with me at this point in the episode, you can handle it. The toughest part about going back to the basics is to stay in the process. Keep growing, keep learning, keep failing. You've come so far. If you look back, you've come so far. Let's go back to that example of moving to a new city. That was huge. It was huge. And although things might not have turned out the way that you wanted them to, you're okay. And you're doing an exceptional job. I am so proud of you. And here's the thing. Life only gets better from here, but you have to stay in the process. You have to challenge yourself to be fully present in the process, to learn the lessons in the process. And the final S of basics is to serve. You started this idea with the desire to serve. Go back to your heart of being a servant. go back to serving and you will find the answers that you need to keep going. And I know what you want too. You want to take a concept, an idea that seems basic to the world. Side note, you see what I did there? Basics. Yeah, basics are foundational elements. So you want to take this foundational element and you want to make it pop. You want to make it exceptional. You want to make it different. You want to make it hit different. And you don't want to make it pop because you want the money, although you do want money. You want to make it pop because you want to truly see people's lives change. You want people to feel good about themselves. And because you want that, that's why you cannot give up. That's why you have to use the basics method to go back and see your wins. That's why we have to gas our own selves up when we are in this process of creating and launching and pushing ideas out there and being brave and taking bold new steps in our personal life, because it matters, because somebody needs your idea, your basic idea, which will pop on top of it. Someone needs that. And here's the thing. Come here. It's totally possible. You can do all of that. Everything that's in your head to do, you can do it. It is possible. You just have to start. It's time to talk about what I've been loving. Product recommendations, shout outs to family and friends, and overall gratitude. Let's get into it. Welcome back for another What I've Been Loving. This week is pretty simple. I have been loving the rain. We've been having a mixture of extremely hot weather, but also like wet, rainy, a little bit chilly, but also still kind of hot. And I've been loving it. I love the rain. Like, if you're watching this, I'm going to hit this light real quick. And look at how dark it is in here. That's Bay. That's Bay for candles and napping and everything in between. So my simple love for this week is the rain, because I love sleeping in it and relaxing and everything in between. How about you? If you enjoyed today's episode, share the love. Share it with your mama, share it with your auntie, share it with your best friend. Then head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Reviews help the podcast to grow. Well, that's all I have for you this week, and I'll see you out in these social media streets. Bye.